3 is entitled Good versus Harm, and this is taken from verse 12, which says, she does him good and not harm all the days of her life. When Will was a baby and I had, obviously the older children were at school, I remember once just dropping Zach and Jackson at school. They were quite little. I think they were like 4 and 5, and Will was just a baby, and I thought, I'm just going to go to the park right next to their school and get Will to sleep in the pushchair and just read a book and sit there and have some peace. And it was a beautiful day, and so that's what I did, and wheeled Will around till he went to sleep and tucked him in, and then got my book and sat there in the park. And there was two ladies about my age, maybe a little bit younger, who were sat on one of the seats just nearby, and I couldn't help but hear their conversation. It was very, very loud, and basically it was a bit of a slandering conversation where one of the ladies talked about her husband and just talked about how terrible he was as a husband and how he works late and he never has time for her and he does this and he does that. And I'm not here to judge whether that was true or not, and the other friend was just umming and ahhing around, oh yeah, that's terrible, and encouraging. I just thought, how sad. Obviously this lady had some issues in her marriage, and a lot of us do, and it's not easy. But I thought, to sit there and slander your husband like that to a friend is really not a good basis to build anything, is it? And it made me really, really sad. And in this particular verse, the writer is talking about how the Proverbs 30 woman relates to her husband. But just as I observed in that conversation, the verse could easily be about a friend talking about another friend. But let's look at marriage first of all. I've been married for 23 years, and let me tell you, marriage is amazing and hard. It's wonderful and difficult, all at the same time. And if there's anyone that can push your buttons, let me tell you, it's that person that you live with 24/7, who knows you better than anyone else, who sees you at your worst, but also sees you at your best. They can push your buttons. But in marriage, we're in it for the long haul. And if we are on those days when it's hard and difficult and you could scream or you could throw something at him, we need to choose to do good and not harm. And you might say to me, well, Louise, why can't he start to do good to me first? Why is it me who has to do good? If he starts doing good to me, then I'll start doing good for him. Well, let me firstly say, someone's got to start. And why not let it be you? Why not let it be me? This verse says all the days of her life, which means not just on your honeymoon or when he brings you flowers on your anniversary or when he takes you out for a nice meal or he actually remembers to empty the dishwasher or remembers to put his dirty washing actually in the dirty washing bin and not just on top or by the side. It's not just on those days, but it says do good to him all the days of your life. If you're not married, let's put this in context of friendship. Let's choose to do good to our friends, to invest in friendship, even though sometimes you feel like you get nothing in return. I remember many years ago when I was a youth pastor, that one of the teenage girls came to me after our youth night and asked if she could speak to me. And she said, Louise, I've got this friend and she's a really, really good friend, but I feel like I'm investing everything into this relationship. I'm the one doing the giving and she's doing all the taking. And to be quite honest, I'm a bit sick of it, she said, and I don't know what to do. And I remember saying at the time, thinking for a moment, and I really believe that this was from God, what I said to her. I said, you will never go wrong by sowing good into a friendship. The Bible says that we reap what we sow. So if you sow good things in that friendship, even if you don't reap them back in that friendship, I 100% believe that you will reap so many good friendships in your life as a result. And hopefully you will turn things around in this friendship and your friend will start to realize, hey, I'm receiving a lot here and I'm not doing a lot of giving. But let's have that heart, let's have that attitude where we realize that we will reap what we sow. And so let's commit to do good in our friendships, to do good in our relationships, to do good in our relationship with our husband. Let's not manipulate to get our own way. Let's not try to control, but let's be girls and women who do good and not harm all the days of our lives. Maybe you think, well, I've done a lot of harm in my life. Well, do you know what? There's no better day to start to do good than today. You can change things around from here on out and you can choose to do good. I want to ask you a question. How can you start to choose to do good today? In your relationships, maybe your relationship with your husband, you need to change things. You need to make a commitment to no matter what, I am going to choose to be like that Proverbs 31 woman, and I'm going to choose to do good. Maybe in a friendship that you've got, how can I choose to do good in that friendship? Maybe it's a relationship with a parent where you feel like you've been let down and you don't feel like you want to do good. Maybe you need to change things today and start to do good in that relationship. We encourage you, maybe it's with a sibling. There's lots of relationships that this can apply to. But let's be that woman that says, just like in verse 12, she does him good, or them good, you could say, and not harm all the days of her life. Let's decide to be these women that are not perfect, but are excellent, and we choose to do good all the days of our life.